guys, how's it going? On today's video, we're going to be unboxing, assembling, and installing a set of 575 headlights from Dapper Lighting. Massive thank you to Ben at Dapper Lighting for working with me on a set of headlights. Let's go ahead and get these unboxed. So this is how they come. Beautiful packaging. Nicely all boxed up. These are the 575s. I went with chrome housings, HDR switchbacks, and clear glass. And then this box has the real goodies in it. There we go. So it does use the early model mounting. So you'll need the early model bracket, the bucket, and the rings. I have a powder coated set of black rings, silver rings, but I think I'm actually going to get a set in chrome. I think they would complement the inside a lot better than the black. But for now, the black is good. And then this is just amazing. So this is their headlight duct. As you can see, there's no high beam, but it still keeps the halo that's there. My last set of headlights had a headlight intake, and I liked the way that looked, especially with the route that we're going with the build. So I figured it was only fitting to keep that. I mean, this is heavy duty. We went with the switchbacks, so when I turn on the turn signals, the outers will be amber. And then obviously the insides will be, it'll switch back and forth between amber and white, depending if we're on driving mode or if we're going turn signal. They also have RGB, so you can set them to any color you want. They got a ton of options available for the actual insides of the lights themselves. So I'm going to finish getting this all unpacked, and then we can go ahead and start assembly. Rage Parts is now a authorized dealer of Dapper Lighting headlights. So if you guys would like a set, they're now available at rageparts.com. We can fully custom order them for you and do the full assembly if that's what you'd like. Of course, powder coated backings, buckets, zinc plated hardware, our adjuster screws, and then they'll be pretty much ready to go install in your car. And then you could either send us back a core charge if you send us back some early model backings, or you can purchase them without if you have late model headlights. If for some reason you guys do not like the semi-gloss on the buckets and backings, we can sometimes take custom requests in to do other colors. But if you go ahead and order them, this is how they will come. Zinced hardware, semi-gloss backings, and either you'll get the choice of black or white adjuster screws. But if you guys are interested in a set, go ahead, rageparts.com. Adjuster screws are live, rageparts.com. You guys can check those out as well. And let's get to assembling. Got the headlights all laid out here. We got our two low beams here on the side with the wiring attached. Then we have our high beam and our headlight intake right there. This could get mounted anywhere. I mean, any of these can get mounted anywhere. We're going to keep it in the stock configuration. Low beams on the outside, high beams on the inside. For now, we will be installing this on the driver's side. Eventually, it'll get moved to the passenger side. But for now, that's good. Before we assembled, I went ahead and got everything powder coated. The brackets are powder coated. The headlight backings are powder coated. Also got the rings powder coated. Did a set in silver and a set in black. I think I'm actually going to send this set out and get them chromed. I think that'll, like I said earlier, complement them a lot better. Now, the only thing we're missing are the headlight adjusters. These are about $13 or $14 each, new from BMW. So I thought that was a little bit crazy, especially when you have to buy 8 of them. So I went ahead and made my own. These are now available on rageparts.com. They are a redesign of the factory piece with some added upgrades to it. We added a groove at the top to make install and disassembly a lot easier. We also made a nice tool for it. You get very tired of turning them when you have to pinch them, your fingers close together. So we went ahead, made a nice tool for it that fits on the factory pieces as well. So when you're going to disassemble your old set before you refinish them, this will make your life a lot easier. You can put it on a ratchet or an impact. I don't really recommend the impact, but it can be done for those that are a little more impatient trying to get these taken off. You can zip them off real quick, and they are good to go. So if you guys are interested in a set, we have them available in black, which I think is the preferred way to go. But if you're also interested, we have them in white as well, if you want that contrast on your pieces. But here you can see them installed, just like the factory ones, ready to go. I might also have a few sets of backings, either pre-assembled or just pieces, whether it's buckets or backings or hardware. You can find on the website as well. First thing we're going to start off with is the backings and the adjustment screws. Go ahead and line it up, which you guys can't see here. So go ahead and spin them on, just like that, and they are good to go. And then you go ahead and do the other 4. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. These openings are for your springs right here. And then once you get those on, you'll grab your bucket and thread them into place. Pop them in the hole and thread them. And then we will have assembled units just like this. And then all we have to do is put the 575 headlights in the center, and then we'll put our ring on top, and then we'll finish them off with these Phillips screws right here. So we'll go ahead and get the wiring popped through. And then all we have to do is put these in like that, and then we'll have to line up. There's only one way these rings go on, so just pop them in. If you are installing these on the car, just make sure you keep an extra hand on the lens, just in case for some reason it falls out. But you want to make sure you keep a hand on the lens until you have at least a few of the threads started. Then I'm going to go ahead and pick it up and make sure that everything's seated like it should. And then we can go ahead and get this all tightened down. Now that one's done, let's go ahead and get the low beam on. So we can grab the whole harness here and go ahead and just set it through. What's nice is it has some little notches and it says top and bottom, so it kind of just sits in place. And then all you have to do is put the ring on, and just like that, our first set of headlights is ready to go. Obviously, once we get them on the car, we're actually going to need to adjust how the light is angled. Make sure that, 1, it's optimal for driving, and 2, so you're not blinding people as you drive by. But there we go. That is all done. So let's go ahead. I'm going to quickly assemble the other side. All right, let's go over the wiring here. It looks like a lot, but it's actually pretty straightforward. Early model and late model slightly different. On your early model car, so let's say 88 and below, you have this 3-prong plug. So, which is nice, included in the kit is everything you needed to go for early model. So you have your LED, which goes to your harness, and then you have the 2 blue wires, which also go to your harness. So this is for your low beam, and this would be your high-low shutoff for your high beam. So you have this diode right here, which is, you go red to red, black to black. Leave it a little loose when you first test it, snug enough to where it's not going to pop out when you test it, but enough to where you're able to pull it. Sometimes the diode's backwards and you just have to flip it, but that's to make sure your high beams work. So that's all in one, easy pigtail for your early model setup. Now for the ring, everything goes to this switchback box right here. Very simple. You have your power and ground, which I would wire to your side markers. And then you have your yellow and white, which will go to your turn signals as the signal for that. The E30 headlight switch is a 3-position plug. Off, you have your city light, which is your first pull, which will just turn on the ring, but won't turn on your headlights. And then you have the 3rd position, which is full on, which will keep the ring on and turn on your low beams. Now, when you turn your turn signals on, which will signal this, and it will change from white to amber. For everyone that has a late model, this will be just slightly different. You will not need this extra plug right here. So what you will do is you will wire your LED straight into your normal plug, and then you will want to run these 2 wires, the blues, so a ground and a power, to your high beam as a switch here, so that when it knows when you give power to your high beam, it cuts your low beam. So that's pretty simple there, and you just won't need this extra pigtail. Most likely, for the purpose of the video, I'm going to go ahead and, because I have an early model car, I will go ahead and run these straight, and we won't have any issues. I will also, so I'll make this a little bit longer than it needs to be, we will first install it on early model harness, which will be pretty much plug and play. And then I do have a late model car, which I will then install these on as well, so you guys can see the wiring for that. And then we can go for a little bit of drive and you guys can see how the headlights perform. Obviously, this car doesn't run at the moment, so it'd be better off taking these on the street. So for the wiring, for me, I can do it on the bench here. Don't really have to do it on the car. Makes my life a little easier. It might be a little bit harder for you guys to understand, so I apologize for that. When I do it on the late model, it'll be like they're in the car, and I'll have to deal with all the wiring. But this, I can at least explain all the plugs and stuff, so you can see 3-pin. But if you guys haven't seen the beginning of the harness tuck, it's right there. You can see that the whole harness is taken apart, got a nice main connector there, everything to be nice and hidden in the engine bay. So that's why my harness looks like this, and that's why I'm doing it like this, so it make my life a little bit easier. Like I said, relatively easy, most of it. We have our 2 pigtails right here. Easiest way to tell the difference between your low beam and your high beam is your low beam has 3 wires, your high beam only has 2. So simply take your connector and plug it in. So just like that, we'll take this and plug it in like that. Our diode, again, red to red, black to black, just snugged in there, not all the way, just in case we need to flip it. So that wiring's done. This wiring's done. All we need to do now is wire in our halo. But let's quickly, before we do the halo on both sides, well, I guess this one's easy. This side's done. Obviously, there's no connector for the high beam, so we can leave that blank. This little pigtail right here, the 2-pin, is your wiring for your side marker. So what I'm going to do is, included in the kit are these wire taps. So you simply remove the sheathing and snap these into place, and all you have to do is plug them in, because it's that easy. Which, for the video, I'm going to do it. I will later go through and rewire all of this, so it's just one nice, small, little clean harness. So our black and red will go here. And then we will then go to our turn signal, which is this 3-prong right here. And then we will tap the 2 wires in that as well. Pretty simple. Take the clamp. Not the biggest fan of these, but they do work. So we'll go ahead, peel these wires apart, put the clamp in. You heard the little click. That one's good to go. Just like that, these 2 are good to go. So all we'll do is we'll take our black wire and put it into the brown wire. Like this. We'll take our red wire and put it into the gray and yellow. Like that. And now your ring is done and good to go. Now for your turn signal wires right here, this gray and yellow is for your city light. So basically when you turn it on to that first position, it also turns those lights on. So we won't be using that. We just need to tap into the ground and then the blue and red wire right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the white to ground and yellow to power. So just like we did with the other wires, simply use the included clips. Yellow to blue, in, white to ground. Your low beam is done. Now we still have the wiring for the switchback to the halo in the ring, which we don't have a high beam for. So it's the same thing. What I would do is these all wires, these should go together. Basically, I would cut and add a butt connector to these right here and just splice these in so everything's going to one. And then as far as the passenger side right here, just like the driver's side for the most part, we'll go ahead and find our two connectors. We found our 2-pin, so that will just directly plug into the high beam like this. And then we will find our 3-pin, which is right here. Plug it in. Just like the other side, we find our 2-pin plug right here. And we will go ahead and get these wires put in. And also our turn signal wire, same thing, tap into the ground and then the blue and red, and you are good to go. All right, so you can see here, all I did was I connected the main ones to this, and then I simply, right before the next pigtail, or the next connector, I just tapped them again. So that's good to go. This is a lot of wiring right here. So once I do the final install into this car, I will go through and shorten all this. When I do it in the late model car, I will also get rid of some stuff to try to shorten some stuff up. But a lot of this stuff is a little bit, I wouldn't say redundant, but we could definitely work on tightening this up. If you guys buy a built set from RageOfParts.com, these will already be slimmed down, so you only will get what you need, and it will be a little bit more, hopefully plug and play than this. I still have to work through all this and make it perfect for you guys, but that will be the plan. Got them all going. These things are bright. Let's see if the high beams work. Cool. So good. Love the halo look. Well, that was awesome. Car is super dirty, but those things are so fresh. And this is way better than my attempt at a headlight intake. I mean, the extra chrome to mimic the other one, and then paired with the Euro grills that let in the most air. If you guys want to set, RageOfParts.com. But yeah, these things are spectacular. All right, now that everything's done on the early model, let's go put them on a late model. Now you're probably wondering, wait, but what about the switchbacks? Yes, we will show those on the late model install. All right, here's my touring. If you guys haven't seen that video, check it out. But let's go ahead and finish the install. I'm going to go ahead and wire these all up into these six wire collectors, because as you can see here, not the leaf. So we have 2 wires for our low beam, 2 wires for our high beam, and then for the Euro cars, we have 2 wires for our city light. Since there are no side markers, they come with city lights. The only thing with the Euro car is it does not come with the backings. Any late model car is a different backing. So only the early model cars have the metal housings for this to work, unfortunately. So like I said, you would be able to just buy the backings if you'd like to. You can buy a whole kit, backings, rings, hardware, and assemble it yourself. Or you can have us assemble it complete and ready to install into your car. All right, got that all wired into one pigtail. What I would like to do eventually, it's going to be a long while before this happens, is plug and play harnesses. So if you have a Euro car, early model, or a late model car, to make life a little easier than having to rewire anything. But for now, you're going to have to rewire some stuff. So I did city lights, or if you have side markers, side marker lights, high beams, low beams. Same thing on here. We have our black and reds going to our city lights or turn signals. We have our middles, which is our high beams. And then on the other side, we have our low beams. Now, these are high-low bulbs. So these you would want to wire into your high beam so that the shutter moves when the high beams get power. For right now, I'm not going to wire these in for now. But if you were, simply just one power, one ground. It doesn't matter which way they go. Just wire them into your high beam right here. And you are set for those. Just to say, let's say you had you have a headlight intake on this one and no high beam. You would want the high beam to work off of this light if you need it. If not, no worries. But those will all be options on the website. So this is all ready to go. This is a lot of extra wiring right here. We do have to remember that they make these kits for a lot of vehicles, so it's always nice to have extra wire. I will go ahead and trim these down for you so there's not, this whole band of extra, and I will probably mount them somewhere on the headlight so it cleans it up. But for now, that's it. Now we need to grab the signal from the turn signal so that we can wire in our reds or yellow and white wires for the turn signals for the switchbacks on here. The wiring, the one side, took me about half hour to do that one. And this one, I am using kind of junk Amazon connectors and some pliers. I know it's not the correct tools. It works for me. When I make the harnesses, they will not be these. They will be proper Deutsch connectors and proper, the 9005, 9006 connectors for your late models. I believe they're H11s for the early models. And then for the Euro ones, I will also have those connectors. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. All right, here is our turn signal wire. Now, the proper way to do it is pull the bumper off so you can actually get to the front of the harness. All right, so quickly got these. I just used the snap connectors. And then what I will do is twist these into one, twist these into one, and then those will both connect to that through one connector. All right, got those ready to go. Got those ready to go. Got that plug ready to go. And I got this plug ready to go. So this side is ready for install. And just like that, don't worry, I just had to grab a set of grills temporarily. So don't mind the M badge. But here they are, all installed. We still need to adjust them. But they look fantastic. Let me put you guys on the stand and turn these puppies on. So there we have our rings, which are super bright. We have our low beams. And then we have our high beams. if you have the high-low option, which would be on your outers, which I would recommend, so I'm going to wire this one in later. But if you're going to use a headlight or a headlight intake, make sure you get the high-low option so that not just one high beam is working. You will then have your outers be your high beams as well as your low beams. But now the best part about these, ooh, look at those. They go to amber. They look fantastic. And then when you're done, back to white. Now we need to go ahead and adjust them. So we're gonna have to wait till it's dark outside, and then you'll go ahead and take your adjustment tool, and we'll go ahead and set these headlights. All right, it's dark out, so let's go ahead and adjust the headlights. There are plenty of YouTube videos on it, but you want to be about 25 feet away. You need to do some measurements. You need a flat wall. I'm going to use the garage door. So for now, it's not bad. I need to actually adjust the headlights themselves and level them out, which is my own fault. But got that pretty much centered. It's not perfect. I'm going to need to readjust it again, but let's go ahead for a drive. So I definitely did not level them correctly. I was definitely on a decline when I leveled them, so they are super high. But I mean, overall, they are super bright. I mean, that's great. And then give the high beam. That's just one. That's just one. So that's only the high beam on the passenger side, because I have the headlight intake on the driver. Because you can see how high they're going up. Obviously that's not correct. Oh, that's a stop sign. They should be much, much, much lower than that. But you guys can see how high they're cutting. So I definitely need to adjust them and bring them lower. But I mean, this is compared to the Smileys I had on before this, which had really crappy bulbs in them. I mean, you know, there's no comparison. And then the switchback is awesome. I do have a side marker on here, but from the front, it's so crisp. The orange and amber switchbacks are so crisp. Like, you can still see how bright they are. And then this is off. Just the halos, and then on. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then let's turn this off. And then you guys can just see so you can see amber from the front, amber from the front. They're so bright, and then they just kick right back on. But I mean, these things throw some crazy light, and I absolutely love any car I get. My truck has crazy bright white headlights because I want to be able to see everything on the road as I drive. Just gotta wait for the garage light to go off, but I mean, they throw so much light, especially when they're aimed properly. Just nice, bright, crisp white when they're with the halos, and then as soon as you turn the switchbacks on for the ambers, you know, they're just great color of orange. If you want to order a set or want a set built, RageAparts.com. You go through all the options to get exactly what you want. There is the Mass Driver Edition package, which is these. You get your chrome housings and your HDR switchbacks, and then you have your option to put the headlight intake or not. But if you want this set, you can go ahead and order it. It's worth it. These headlights are fantastic. There is an option if you want to add some film. Dapper Lighting sells a 12 mil film to protect your headlights. They have them in different colors: yellow, smoked, Clear. All the options are available, razorparts.com. Black housings, chrome housings, clear glass, all the different halo rings. I prefer the HDRs because the ring is very crisp and it doesn't have any like blotches for where the rings go, but they also have modern, which is a little more retro. So depending on what the look of your car is, it might suit it. You could also get them without the rings. You could just get the headlights without the rings. And then they also have two options of bulbs. You can go their 30 watt, which is what these have, or their 13 watt, which is a little bit dimmer. It won't be as bright. They also have halogens. I won't be offering those on my website. I prefer LEDs. I think everyone should switch to LEDs. Halogens just don't throw the light that I think you should have when driving. Again, if you guys want to order a set, rageparts.com. If you guys have any questions, put it down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, have a great day.